Well, we're here in the south of Brooklyn, me, Aiden, John, and we are on our way. You wouldn't know this was Brooklyn. We're in a cattail swamp. We're on our way down to Glass Bottle Beach, and it's at the Jamaica Bay Greenway. So we're gonna look and see what treasures await us out there by the ocean. And here we are coming up on the bay. There's a lot of honeysuckle here. It smells really nice. I guess it's in season. Well, also a ton of poison ivy. Everything's poison ivy. But we're not interested in poison ivy or honeysuckle. We're interested in treasure. Over there you have the Moonbeam Gateway Marina. But this is Bottle Beach, as you can see, a wasteland, but with all kinds of neat old things, old bottles. There's buckles and just all kinds of neat stuff from the 1930s and late 1800s. Tell you what though, this is a bottle collector's dream down here. There's a million bottles. A very large number of them are intact. Some really neat old ones. There's all kinds of things. I mean, there's bricks. This stuff, you know, they bulldozed houses here. They forced people out in the 1950s. Prior to that, they were dumping things from the 1800s on. It was a horse rendering dumping ground also, so they call it Dead Horse Bay. That's the bay out there. And it's really just all kinds of historic pieces you can find besides these bottles. The bottles stand the test of time, so you see a lot more of those than anything, but there's a lot of rings, coins, things like that. If you Google this or YouTube some videos, you'll see a lot of people finding some very impressive finds down here. And this is low tide. The lowest tide today is going to be around 9:43 in the morning, or 9:38, somewhere around there. What time is it now? 8:24. It's 8:24 now, and low tide is going to be very soon. We're probably about as low as it's going to get. But you can just scrape into this mud and pull out all kinds of things. I mean, obviously it's full of wheat pennies. People let those slip through the cracks all the time. But there's Aiden up there. Okay, so there's an area in here that looks like it'd be a good spot up here for things to congregate, and so I'm gonna walk that direction. Everybody's doing their own thing right now, looking for their own treasures. People have pulled out a lot of stuff here. There's you know, people that have boxes of silver coins and things like that they pulled out. There's all kinds of neat things. They find a lot of rings. Rings are very popular for down here. That's a big item they hunt. We got seagulls laughing at us right now. They know that we're not smart enough to really find the real treasures. They're also looking for crabs. There's a lot of crabs out there in the water. We'd probably come across one while we're out here easily. Get a look at that. Lots of old things. Lots of things most people call garbage, I call treasures, because I have a misconception of what the word treasure means, evidently. One of the things I like to do, because I really just like an attachment to history, so I like to find little objects and then imagine what type of floor, you know, it was, what type of building it was in, the people that lived there, or, you know, little things like that just keep my imagination going. And but there's all kinds of neat things. It's not as slimy as you would think either. The water still feels clean when you mess with it, you know, when you're touching it. The stuff looks a little slimy, but it's not really making your hands too bad. You can just, you know. So it's actually a more fun experience than I was anticipating, even, because it has less of the detrimental things that I thought it was going to have. So we have one of the infamous horse bones. There's a beach just crawling with horse bone pieces from the old rendering plants here. Amidst all the bottles and coins and treasures that you find, and jewels. John over there said he believes he found the ruby, which is very possible. There's a lot of old jewelry here. And just under the surface by an inch or so. So if you have a little tool, you can scrape, find all kinds of neat treasure. You can see certain spots on the beach where small items tend to congregate, so I'm thinking if there are any tiny treasures, rings, coins, things like that, they might be right along here. But you can see that there's just basically a line. It goes all the way down the beach of where the things are deposited as the water pulls back. So I'm going to concentrate here for a little bit and see if there's anything really interesting down in here. There are definitely a lot of small objects. Aiden is busy chipping away up there at the wall. There's a lot of metal objects in that area, so he's thinking that might be a good spot. We're all basically winging it, so just going by life experience, not by Bottle Beach experience. Trying to come up with our own plans for finding the good stuff. But even if we walk home with nothing, this has been a really fun experience, and it's definitely worth giving this place a try if you're bored one day and you don't mind this sort of an environment. It's a lot of fun. Certainly if you pick a nice day too, and the honeysuckle that you can smell walking down the path, it's really it's very clean. There's almost no noise. You know, you can hear some far off traffic, but if you're in Brooklyn, I mean, this is you'd never know you were in Brooklyn. It's really just like being out in in a more desolate area. So quite an interesting place. The way the sunlight glistens off all this glass, that's a pretty neat thing to see even in and of itself. So a lot of fun. And just a good experience, even if you go home empty-handed. Aiden has moved his archaeological dig up to the wall. Certainly a good possibility of some interesting finds in there. As the water comes up this high, and it has, several times, it's been hurricanes and whatnot especially, it's going to deposit a lot of things right up along the edge. So really no place is off, is a bad place. No place is a bad place to look. And there's something for everyone except people with good taste. They should stay away. But all the rest of us, something for everyone. So I'm braving my way with my shoes, which will now be filled with water, out to the edge during low tide, the only time you can make it out here. So it's a good time of day to be sloshing around in this muck. The muck almost pulled my shoe off here. So far they're holding up. My feet are not wet, which is quite a surprise for my Walmart boots. Now I'm really into the goo. This is some mucky, gloppy muck. So, having not been too impressed by our finds in the sludge fields, we're going to move back up to the shoreline and then make our way down to where the bottles end and the more metallic items begin, and see if there's any new stuff up there that could be of interest, scientific or historic or treasure-wise. Well, John has long wandered off to somewhere far away that I can't see. I don't think he's on the other side of those rocks, because it's been a half an hour since we've seen him at least. I think he went down that way somewhere, perhaps. We're still... And we have not found the great treasure to make us billionaires, but we have found some souvenirs we intend to take with us. On this little rock outcropping, there's a lot of super sparkly, mineral-laden rocks. Quite neat. Well, we're now on our way back. You want to be in this or not? All right, we're now on our way back from the beach. We made it from Trail 1 down to Trail 3, so we're headed back to the federal parking area. We each have a bag of treasures, and we're each had fun. Very, very nice weather today. 76, 78 degrees at the most. It's breezy. Trail 3 also has all these cattails along the way. A little bit of poison ivy, and it's a nice big wide trail. They say there's a lot of ticks out here, so we'll probably be checking ourselves for that when we get back. But all in all, it was a very fun time at Bottle Beach, Jamaica Bay Gateway in New York. Definitely not the experience you expect to have when you go to New York City. So this was a fun time. I'm glad we got to do it. Fun experience.